Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and we are here with day 119 of Coffee and MTG, the fantastic morning show where we talk all things Magic the Gathering. Step 1, brew up the coffee. Step 2, brew up the Magic conversation. First half of the show, we talk Magic. Second half, we do Decklist review. So if you have a Decklist that you need feedback on to help take to the next level, push the win condition, find the right sideboard cards, submit it, and you will be chosen at random to get feedback on that list. We have a great time every single morning, so join me today with a great cup of coffee, and let's start the Magic conversation. Good morning, Shadow Walker. Good morning to all the Fish fam that are here in the morning, all the Magic fam, and all the content creators, and also all the. I notice I get a lot of streamers on this show. I do get a lot of streamers, and as we wait for everyone to show up, I'm going to move into the Magic channel. I am a Magic channel. We talk Magic here. Angkorian Hero, good morning. Good morning to everybody. So yeah, let's brew up a cup of coffee and brew up that Magic conversation. Happy Cake Day, King. Where's my crown? Where is my crown? So yeah, yesterday I was asked, how old are you? And I said, I'm 34 today, but tomorrow I'm 35. So that would technically, if you can crack the code, technically that makes today my birthday. As I think a lot of people in Europe and Asia yesterday found out on Facebook because they are like living a day ahead of me. And everyone's wishing me a happy birthday a day before the actual birthday. Good morning, rodent. And thank you very much, Angkorian Hero. And now I'm like wondering, do I stream today? I have the option to stream. I know we do we have the Magic discussion, but like maybe I should do like a little bit of a birthday stream. I have like things to do, but at the same time, I sort of want to stream as well. Thank you very much, Kalingi. Okay, what's going on in the Magic world? What are the topics happening right now? I don't feel like there's a whole lot going on, but like the news is starting to settle down. Let me just briefly look on Twitter or whatever. Like no one's upset about it. No one is upset about anything. Wow, my God! No one's upset about anything for 2 days. What does Magic come to? What does Magic come to? Thank you very much, Rodent. You could stream something like Belcher to do it quick. Oh yeah, that would be very quick. The morning stream team. Thank you very much, Dexter Johnson. Good morning. Thank you very much, Murcherer. I'm wondering if I should still play my Thieving Magpie deck in Modern for my birthday. Lots of talk about Commander. Yeah, actually, you know what? That is the thing. So there is a lot of talk about Commander, and there's more discussion about spoilers and what's the ethics of keeping things spoiled or not spoiled. And so my take on it is once it's spoiled, it's out there, it's gone. And by the way, if you got a card spoiled, like if you had a preview, like first off, okay, I really don't know how to look at this the proper way, because I can understand there's a lot of content creators that they really cherish their preview cards and it is worth something to them. It's worth exposure, and then the exposure is just killed because, well, we already know about that card already. But once the cards are out there and it's public, it's public. I would say there's still some value to Wizards giving you the preview card. It's just it may not be as valuable if they if it wasn't spoiled. With McDonald's Monopoly going on right now, I'm always wondering what a Monopoly card would look like in MTG with a fire design. I feel like it would be a 3G enchantment with all you lands tap for double while opponent's lands gain, tap another untapped land, add 1 mana of any color, and lose all abilities. I imagine. Hold on, are you talking about Magic and Monopoly or Monopoly and Magic? I think you're saying Monopoly and Magic, what a Monopoly card would look like in MTG. I imagine it's something like you can tap a land to put a counter on it, and it's like a house counter, and then you add more mana for every house counter you have on your land, on your property. So that's how I would see a Monopoly card in MTG. That's the best way that I can look at it. Ooh, Mikey J with 5 months in a row. Subscribe with Subscribe with Prime, by the way. If you want a free way of supporting the channel, you just come over to twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. You connect your Amazon Prime account, and you give me your Prime. And we do this, by the way. Oh, by the way, this show runs from Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Send me your Primes. It's free for you. It's just Jeff Bezos' money going to waste. Pan Hernandez, thank you very much. Good morning, TBCP. Good morning, Moonashay. Walking from home into the weekend, no better way to do it. Cheers, happy birthday. Thank you very much. I have a crappy date for my birthday. This is always like when exam season is really heavy. Not that I really need to celebrate my birthday. Honestly, when you live the life of Nikachu, it's like every day is a day off in some way. Good day, Fish Fam, and happy birthday. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So yeah, the spoiler cards, because I know the Commander spoilers are out, but also from a content creation perspective, a lot of people are talking about the ethics of spoiling the cards. Like, don't share. They're out there, but don't share the spoilers because you can upset people. I mean, the only people who are going to really upset are the people who got the preview card. But you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. It is what it is. It's out there. I think Wizards, at the very least, could push the like, let's say you're a YouTuber and you make a special video about the preview card. Wizards could use their social media platform to push the video. Like, here's the official unveiling of this new Commander card, and it will still have a similar effect as it will have a similar effect as giving them the preview card in the first place. If I didn't give my Bezos bucks to Nikachu, it would just go to his ex-wife anyway. Exactly. I sent you 2 illustrations to your personal Facebook. I hope you like them. I will check out. What I usually do on Facebook, because like Facebook is, whenever it's your birthday, like 1 million people say happy birthday to you. So I just basically wait until the next day when all the happy birthdays are over, and then I give likes to all the happy birthdays. So thank you very much. I'll check them out. The edited 2 illustrations to your personal, I hope. Edited images. I guess that's what you mean. Some edited images. You made some pictures. I'll check them out. Spoilers are a bell that can't be unrung. Yes, that's correct. So once it's out there, it's out there. I don't know. I think from just out of curiosity, is there anyone out there that does not like seeing spoilers? Like, you don't want to see a card, you don't want to see the cards until you start opening them in the pack? Because I heard that there are such people out there, like, no spoilers here. I mean, like, what? Like, spoiler season is basically the unveiling of the set. It's not really a spoiler. They're actually just revealing the set. Have you ever thought playing Modern Spirits as your second deck? Nope. Because they're too similar. I think if I picked up a second Modern deck, it would be something that could complement Merfolk when Merfolk is bad. That's if I were to pick a second Modern deck, it would be something like that. That's how I would see it, because like Spirits is like too close to Merfolk. It's like it's very, very similar enough that it's not really worth, I don't know, getting into. Although I have a lot of Spirit. Now that I think of it, I could build like Blue-White Spirits. I have a lot of Spirits cards now. I have tons of Spirits cards because of my investment into Pioneer. I rarely crack packs, so spoilers don't matter to me. I mean, like, for me, I like spoilers. I want to see the spoilers, and if I can get them even earlier, it's even more exciting. Like that new Merfolk that we saw. We know there's a new Merfolk coming. We have no idea what this Merfolk does, though, because it was too blurry. Leaked spoilers are the celebrity sex tape of MTG. Everyone wants to take a look, but no one admits it. People's Canon is always accepting new pilots. What is this in? Oh, I hear you mean, like as my second deck. Good morning, El Rodeo San. Fear is the mind killer. That it is. The People's Canon. You really love this deck, Lord Magicus. You love this deck. And you've let me know that you were part of this. You were part of the Belcher community even before Belcher came back to Modern. So that must be a very exciting time for the Belcher community. I'm surprised there is a community based around it. I mean, at least Merfolk has something to show for itself. We've had Grand Prix victories, multiple top 8s. Belcher has had nothing for forever. I mean, I don't even know if they've ever made day 2 of a GP. And now they finally actually have like a real deck. They went from literally nothing. I can't even call it tier 3. Like literally nothing to an actual deck. Tier 2 to tier 1. Played it for a long, I guess, in Legacy. I'd like a set where they really hold back the information until release, but if spoilers are out there, I watch them. It depends on how many new boosters / displays I buy. That'd be very interesting, living in a world where you learn about the cards the moment you open them. We sort of had that. I think there were some secret layers. There were some secret layers that had bonus cards in them that were not acknowledged by Wizards of the Coast until people had their hands on the product and they opened it. I used to avoid spoilers just so I can have more surprise when I played at the pre-release. That's interesting. Now, my problem with that is, I mean, back in the day when I used to play pre-release, is that my brain does not have enough time to digest and understand the cards if I'm opening them up and reading them for the first time. I end up being that, like, really lame... I end up being that drafter at the table that has all the packs near him because I'm taking forever to read the cards, to pick what I want, because all the cards are new to me. So I like at least a little bit of exposure before I open packs for the first time. Good morning, Kyoka620. Are you allowed to talk about the Belcher community on Twitch? I don't know. I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Lord Magicus? Is the Belcher community like it's some sort of it's like a name you're not supposed to speak about in public? Now I have to stay ahead of the metagames. Oh yeah, Lucille. Well, I don't think Lucille counts because that was a content creator that was spoiling the cards. I would say Lucille was effectively getting spoiled ahead of time because no one else owns the product yet. It would have been cool if they had done Mystery Booster without spoiling the card list, so it was a real mystery. That's interesting. That's a possibility. You know, I think also with the spoilers, I think there's more incentive for Wizards to spoil earlier and more often, given that the information's not going to be safe anyway. I mean, there are multiple levels of management that know the cards, that tell their friends. There are translators of the cards that know game stores. And know people online. So as they translate cards, they know what's getting reprinted or what's new. I mean, there's probably tons of leaks at the manufacturing facilities. Oh, these are magic cards. I know what these things do. Oh my god, they're creating a Death Shadow for 2 mana, and you can get as big as like 1919. So for the most part, spoilers at this point are just like impossible. Even like unintended spoilers or leaks, I should call them leaks. Leaks are just near damn impossible to prevent at this moment, but you can mitigate it with your own official spoilers. Like there have been the set's been leaked before by and then Wizards basically followed that up with just spoiling the entire set themselves. We did that with Mystery Booster at the first GP it was released at. There we go. They just have to keep the set an ice cold mystery. You don't even know it's coming. Iconic Masters? There was some... I don't know what was not spoiled from Iconic Masters. Or was Iconic Masters a set that was leaked and then they showed everything at once? Alpha was... Alpha. But not beta. Lucille is not on the official product page nor advertisements. Well, that's just bizarre. But anyway, it was spoiled by Nisa Meow Meow. Everyone knows about Lucille. Basically. I mean, everyone knows. How do you not know? If you buy this product, how do you not know? You like live on... How do you know so much about this product to buy it, but you don't know about Lucille? The first rule of Belcher community is you don't belch about the Belcher community. Ew, that's gross. True, because I don't see spoilers, my buddy will send me pics of the goods. To be honest, like most spoilers are just trash. I mean, it's like a bunch of vanilla cards. Or just unplayable draft stuff. But that's what makes it such a good, easy promotional promotional tool for Wizards of the Coast, that they can give all sorts of content creators like a random 1/2 creature, or sorry, a 1/2 creature for 4 mana that has some tap ability and target creature can't be blocked this turn or some crap like that. And like completely unplayable and constructed. But they got a free spoiler. They got a free spoiler, and everyone's gonna go check it out to see what it's all about. Because you never know, any spoiler could be a gold mine. The next historic set will give black Fatal Push. When does red get our Swift Spear and Bolt? I don't think. Well, they're gonna give it eventually. Swift Spear may take a little while, but isn't Swift Spear? Hold on, isn't Swift Spear in Pioneer? So yeah, Swift Spear is on the way. Swift Spear is on the way because Pioneer is going to be in Historic by the end of the year. So, that's what they said. So if Pioneer is coming to MTG Arena by the end of the year, you are going to get Swift Spear. Lightning Bolt, you're going to have to wait on that one. I think the last Lightning Bolt reprint was somewhere near the original printing of Zendikar. I could be wrong. I think I could be wrong, but like I think Historic will eventually be Legacy online. So if you wait long enough, Lightning Bolt will become part of the format. But if you're waiting for Swift Spear, it's on the way probably very soon. Iconic Masters was a blind release at some convention. Why Ether Vial over Collected Company for Simic Merfolk builds? Advantages or disadvantages with each? So first off, with Ether Vial, it's uncounterable. Ether Vial itself is not uncounterable, but it's very easy to get into play underneath counter magic, and then for the rest of the game, you can put multiple creatures into play. Now with and you don't need that much mana. You can run like 20-ish lands, and that will be fine with an Ether Vial deck. With Collected Company, because it's 4 mana, you need to have more like actual mana lands in your deck in order to cast it. And by the time you get 4 lands in play, this thing is easily a more counterable card. Yeah, that's about it. It accelerates you in the later portions of the game, but that may not be the point of the game that you need that acceleration, whereas Ether Vial will give you more mana earlier on in the game and later on in the game if you need it. Collected Company is just like a one-time use. I like I like playing with both. I've played with both before. I have no problems with Collected Company. I like the card a lot. So, I mean, that's all I can say about that. But you don't have to choose one over the other. What I do like about Collected Company is it's a 2. You get 2 cards in one, so it increases the threat density of the deck. It can be an artificial lord because it does dig deep into the deck to look for your lords. You usually can get some sort of value out of it, like Silvergill Adept to replace the card that you spent on Collected Company. So okay, let's talk about some disadvantages. I don't want the advantages to Collected Company, I think, are relatively obvious. It's a 2-for-1, flash speed, artificially increase the number of cards in your you have technically extra Silvergills and Rejuries when you're playing with something like Collected Company. However, what are the disadvantages? One disadvantage is you need the lands for this deck. So you need to have extra mana in your deck, which means you're going to have to dilute some of your threats in order to make for that mana. Otherwise, Collected Company will be clunky. That might be a trade-off that you might be willing to make. Right now, I think Modern is in a spot where we are not willing to make that trade-off. So the clunk matters. But that's why when Glasspool Mimic got printed, let's get Glasspool Mimic up here. When Glasspool Mimic got printed, I think this is a great card to add to the Collected Company version of Simic Merfolk, because this is a creature which can be found off Collected Company, but also can help you ramp into your Collected Company. But now I also think of things like, are the lands that you put in the deck to cast Collected Company outweigh the dilution that you like? When you get the 2-for-1 from Collected Company, does it make up for the fact that you diluted your deck with more lands? That I don't know, but Glasspool Mimic might actually help fix the balance because it's both a creature and a mana source at the same time. Those are the things I think about with Collected Company. The creators are so excited about They're 3-1 for 1 in white. I have no idea which card this is. Core 11 was the last time that Lightning Bolt was printed. It's possible. Or like, yeah, it would have been around that time. So if you want Lightning Bolt in Historic, I don't know when it's... You know, honestly, they could print it in at any moment. They really could do that, because they do that, right? They've got their own historic masters, and just print whatever they want into the format. Like Wormcoil Engine. Does Wormcoil Engine even see play? Can't wait to draft Cons on Arena. It was a very popular set. There we go! We found our Monopoly card. Ethervile is literally a land with house counters. And when you get to 5 counters, it turns into a hotel. There we go. Merfolk plays with Monopoly cards. I was just describing this card, except it was a land before. A few weeks ago, you said that 8 lords was enough. What changed? What do you mean? Well, 8 lords plus Glasspool Mimic. Or hold on. Under what circumstances? I will say this. You need to have 8 Island Walk Lords is enough, but you need to have about 12 powerful cards in your Merfolk deck. And in the past, but I'm talking like way deep in the past, so I don't know what this is in reference to. We could fill like the 9th to 12th slot with Master of Waves or Smuggler's Copter. These days, however, I'm playing with a lot of Lords. I'm usually playing with 12 Lords for the last year. I mean, either the 8 Island Walk Lords and Merfolk Mistbinder, or if I'm in Mono Blue, I play with the 8 Island Walk Lords and Mirror Regery. I mean, you need 8 Island Walk Lords. Yeah, I would need to know specifically what it's all about. They had a chance with Jumpstart, but they said it would be too powerful. Oh, Jumpstart and Historic. In Etron? I can't follow where some of these comments are coming from. Nothing can counter 1 mana artifacts. Nothing except Chalice on 1. Exactly, because Dragons has a lot of needless bullshit. So there was something I like, put half of Fate in Dragons and the other in Cons. I think this is in response to... I wonder if how they will do Cons Remastered. It's the last 3 set block. Maybe they'll just have all 3 sets. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just curious, because we had a great conversation about Graveyard Hate the other day. What, like, anti-burn hate is out there? What are all the anti-burn cards? If someone was having trouble against burn and you had to recommend some cards, what on earth would you recommend against them? I can think of some stuff. Like, for example, Core Firewalker. But I'm sure there's millions of cards. The burn player shows up. How do I send a deck list for you to review? Oh, it had nothing to do with the burn conversation. I will explain later. If you want, you can send it to this. You go ! Deck review space, give the URL to the deck list, and then you can leave any comments behind it. But remember, ! Deck review, give URL. All right, so let's so Mark of Asylum. I've never heard of this one. Is this an anti-burn card? Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to creatures. Holy crap, that is a burn. But this is like not very... Is this even playable in Modern? Does this card see play? I've heard of it. Mark of Asylum is my pet card. Leyline, there we go. Leyline of Sanctity is a good one. Just say no to any burn spells that are going directly to the opponent's face. Cerulean Drake. Well, I don't... okay, so we'll go Cerulean Drake. This is a pretty good card. Just roadblocks the creatures in front of it, and also you can sacrifice a counter target spell that targets you. Burrenton Forge Tender. Of course, a lot of these are going to be very white based. White has all the good stuff against burn. It goes back to like what's it called? Like these cards, White's hate against burn goes as far back as Circle of Protection Red. So this card, pro red again. Burn hates pro red. I mean, that's why they got Skullcrack, but they still hate pro red. You can sacrifice to prevent all damage a red source of your choice would deal this turn. Blessed Alliance. And the thing that makes this card good is that, you know, you have the option to you gain 4 life, but you can also, like, it's good against any creature-based deck. But of course, you can escalate it and you get the 4 life and make your opponent sacrifice an Eidolon or something. Dragon's Claw. That also is played in some burn decks. Burn versus burn. I mean, this is the mirror breaker right there. 2 mana artifact. Whenever a player casts a red spell, you can gain 1 life. Oh yeah, collective. I think maybe collective brutality is the most brutal. It is collectively brutal against the burn deck because you can escalate on all modes and they'll all be good. So you gain life, you drain them. You can look at their hand, take a burn spell, and also you kill one of the creatures that's in front of you, whether it's Swift Spear, Eidolon of the Great Revel, or Goblin Guide. I know Andrew Day2 Dryden, he hates this card. He hates this card more than anything. For Hydroblast. I guess I can put a Hydroblast here. Counter target spell if it's red, destroy target permanent if it's red. I would love this card in Modern. I would love this card in Modern. Got Murchur with Timely Reinforcements. So 3 mana. If you have less life than an opponent, you gain 6 life. If you control fewer creatures than an opponent, put 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. I wonder how often I never thought about this line. What if you're a burn player and your control player like plays this out pretty early, but you're only like 3 points away from your opponent, so you burn yourself in order to prevent them from gaining the life? That sounds like a thing. Oh, now we're getting to some serious hate here now. Chill. This is a card I also want to see in Modern. They'll never give it to me though. They'll let Boil and Choke and all those other haymakers stand, but Chill, no, that's just too much. Fuck them. Unbelievable. The best hate is just play the current Modern meta. Badoom-psh. Oh yeah, Auriok Champion is a beating. The champion of Auriok. Pro black and pro red. 1/1 creature, but like whenever you can't, basically it's indestructible. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life. Yeah, how about Chill on Modern? I would love Chill in Modern. This is a devastating card. Turning a red deck spells like into 4 mana cards is just brutal. I could say Uro is a hate card. I could say this is a burn hate card. Shalai? Oh, you mean like for giving all your creatures hexproof? And it's also a pretty big body. Wouldn't say it's the most high impact hate card, but definitely when Shalai enters the battlefield, none of the creatures are going to get killed anymore. And at 4 toughness, that's basically indestructible against a burn deck. I wouldn't say burn is that bad, but I don't really want to say burn is bad. It's just not popular. Oh yeah, it gives you hexproof too. Planeswalkers, you. That's right, you, viewers like you, Planeswalkers you control and other hexproof creatures you control have a hexproof. Hey, forget it. It's incredibly insane against burn. This is super powerful. You gotta live to be able to play it, but I think you will. Like 4 mana is not impossible against a burn deck. You have hexproof too. Everyone gets hexproof with Saliva Voice of Plenty out. There's other cards out there. There's some cards that have not seen play in quite a while that I have in mind. Elder Gargaroth. Basically anything that like gains life is a problem for burn. So there's Elder Gargaroth. Whenever it blocks or attacks, you can gain 3 life. There's also Thrag Tusk in that same domain, although you get the life up front. And you gain a lot of life, by the way. You gain 5 life, but it's a one-time deal. Why play burn if there's prowess? Because burn beats prowess. Kill it, snipe off the creatures while dealing damage. Pachoo, 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 pachoo. Searing Blaze this. Skoos and Baloth. I think Scavenging Ooze is a bit soft for an answer, but Baloth is a beating. So this still is life gain. So in the long run, in the late game, if you stabilize, this thing will if you're not dead, Scavenging Ooze will take over and will definitely gain you a bunch of life and also close the game out really quickly. How many Baloths are there? I just want the obstinate one. So many Baloths. Baloth ETB, gain 4 life. Screw you! Spellskite sorta. Yeah, I would say also sorta. Not that great. Bit of a blocker. Is Teo the spell shield? Don't know what Teo is. You have hexproof. Create a 0/3 white wall creature token with Defender. I would not say this is the worst card in the world, but I have to admit that I have not ever seen this card see play. Probably because it's like too defensive. Is the Wanderer too slow? Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and or permanents you control. Exile target creature with power 4 or greater. I would say it is a bit slow, but also it cannot like the Wanderer cannot defend themselves at all. Ooze won me a lot of games when I was on Elves versus Burn. I would say Chalice of the Void is pretty good against Burn. Let's get the English one. I mean, you put Chalice on 1 or Chalice on 2, boom, that's it. Like, what are they going to cast? They're not going to cast anything anymore. Healer of the Glade. When Healer of the Glade enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. Fantastic. Fantastic card. 1 mana, gain life. I can't remember. Doesn't Spirits have something similar? Or I'm thinking of maybe the 1 mana 1/2 creature that turns elementals and turns the block creature into an elemental. Sorry, into a copy of that spirit. Yeah, you die too many times with Chalice on 1. Sometimes you gotta wait and you just get it on Chalice on 2. Not popular anymore, but Feed the Clan. Oh! You gain 5 life, you gain 10 life if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. But this now reminds me. This reminds me of oh, what's the one from the one with Storm? What's the Storm one? Weather the Storm. This is a hoser. I never lost a game against Burn that I resolved this card. I played this. If I gained 9 life, that game was over. It was over. If I gained 12 life, it was really over. It didn't even look close. It didn't even look close. Yeah, Weather the Storm is actually a fantastic like life gain card to like eradicate Burn. Knot of the Bone and Dredge. Oh, that reminds me. Creeping Chill. You gain 2 life for each creature card in your graveyard. Well, but there's an even better. I don't know about this one, but like, oh, actually, this one is great. I'm trying. Oh, Mill doesn't play this one because they don't want to splash the green. Oh, and also it's only your graveyard. So there's also, what's it called? Okay, Creeping Chill. I don't even think they don't. Do they even need Knot of the Bone anymore? Like, what's even the point? Creeping Chill is just like infinitely better. Life Goes On. I think Life Goes On was a better option before Weather the Storm. But it's actually, but you know what? I actually strongly consider this card because the difference between holding up 1 mana and 2 mana is like a huge world of difference. And by the way, a creature died. If a creature died this turn, you gain 8 life. That's so easy against burn because they're killing your stuff anyway all the time. Creeping Chill is evil. This is. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I would prefer banning Creeping Chill and unbanning Golgari Grave Troll. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that statement, but I'd be willing to make that exchange. I'd be willing to make that exchange. Then there's Crypt Incursion from Mill. Oops. I can't spell Crypt Incursion. Exile creature cards from target player's graveyard. You gain 3 life for each card exiled this way. They, I've actually lost this card. If there's one reason I ever lose to Mill, it's because of this card. It's right here. They just put themselves out of range of dying, and I have 2 cards left in my library, and I just don't have enough power. Remember when Brain in a Jar was going to wreck MTG in every format? I don't. I remember that this card got hyped, but nothing real around it. Soul Warden. So yeah, these life gain cards, like just the deck itself, is very, very strong. Light of Hope. What is Light of Hope? Choose 1, gain 4 life, destroy target enchantment, which could be Eidolon of the Great Revel, and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. I haven't seen this card get played yet, but it's a new card, so maybe I haven't been paying attention. Like, no one's going to bring it in against me. Is Hex Drinker good? No, against burn? No, it's just a card. What is it called? Sun Droplet. This is a good card. This doesn't see that much play anymore, to be honest. But it used to be part of control. It used to be in control decks to deal with burn. Whenever you're dealt damage, put that many charge counters on Sun Droplet at the beginning of each upkeep. You may remove a charge counter from Sun Droplet, and if you do, gain 1 life. And what else? Well, Hex Drinker is a good card. Oh, there we go. Thaler's not bad. Thaler's not bad. Because it's effectively like a mini chill. I mean, most of the cards are cheap, but you know, you raise the cost by 1, and it can really put a huge hurt on them. Yeah, we had Dragon. We got Dragon's Claw. All of these earlier. I think it worked. Did not work. It worked. It's in there. I don't know if you got a confirmation or not, but I think it's in there. No problem. Coming a little bit late, but I think there's still a lot of life gain cards that we haven't acknowledged yet. So, of course, there's not going to be very much for blue. Or is there? I don't know if I want to qualify Tidebinder Mage as a really good card against burn. Oh, I know a good card against burn. I know. I know one. Cast it without taking any damage from Eidolon of the Great Revel, and also basically put enough power on the battlefield to kill your opponent by the very next turn. Master of Waves. Okay, we're gonna keep talking about some of these things, but as we do, well, first I'm just gonna thank my sponsors. Got to thank the sponsors. Starting with themanabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering, and the Manabase is supported by Fusion Gaming Online, my favorite local game store. And the deal of the week this week is 15% off all core set 2021 singles. You get your Ugins, your Azuzas there, Fable Passage. So yeah, remember, Canadian store, Canadian prices, Fusion Gaming Online. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. And you can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can get 15% off your first 3 months using my coupon code Nikachu. And also, as we keep looking through anti-burn cards, just remind everyone about Decklist review. So if you want to submit a deck for deck review, get some feedback from the community, go ! Deck review space, and very specifically you got to do this, put the URL, and then you can leave, and then after the URL you can leave any comments about the deck that you need help with, or that helps me give feedback. Are you on a budget? What decks are you struggling against? What would you need? Is there any specific part of the deck that you need help on? You want more help on the sideboard or the main deck? Let me know. So yeah, Master of Waves dunks so hard on Pioneer Burn. Oh, Flash Freeze is not bad. Flash Freeze, counter target red or green spell. I feel like we have not hit the tip of the iceberg when it comes to burn hate. Kitchen Finks, not bad. Not the worst thing in the world, but it's pretty good. Ooh, Ether Gust is good. We talked about Cerulean Drake, but we didn't get Ether Gust. It's actually not bad. Ether Gust, being able to put permanents back on top of the library, or even like stall the turn. Oh, Worship. That's pretty good. You have to kill like all the creatures or destroy the Worship. There we go. Now that's some serious damn hate. That's a fucking haymaker right there. Oh, Gilded Goose, not bad. This is the bird you need to bolt, or you're doomed. We probably should include just regular Circle of Protection red, shouldn't we? And yeah, while we're at it, let's add Oko. Mikey J with the Oko. So we have Circle of Protection red, Oko. How would I rank these? Burn players, what do you hate more, Oko or Worship? Worship is a feels bad card. Sometimes I can't even beat it. Worship. I might make a top 10 like anti-burn cards, and like Worship will be number 1. Did someone say Leyline? Yes, someone said Leyline. I think what I'm going to do is like I'm going to use this morning show to just help make content for my main channel. This is basically what it's going to be. You're all like, this is basically how the control video rant happened, and then because someone was asking about how control needed help, and I'm like, what the hell? What are you talking about? Control does not need any help. Although, and then everyone helped contribute to all the control cards that were printed within the last few years. Why does Thought-Knot Seer have to be in the list? Is this really an anti-burn card? It's clunky. I mean, of course, in a Eldrazi deck, it's going to come out on an earlier turn, and it is a good blocker. Madcap into Platinum Imperium. Your life total can't change. It's like What's the artifact destruction card? What is Burns artifact? I mean, I know they have stuff like Shattering Spree, but there's also the 2-mana one that deals 3 damage. Well, there's a Braid. I don't know if they play a Braid. They play Smash to Smithereens. So Smash to Smithereens is like it's bait. Well, anyway, Smash to Smithereens. Oh, we forgot a big one. Phyrexian Unlife. They fucking hate this card. They just hate this card. 3 mana, you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. And as long as you have 0 or less life, all damage is dealt to as though its source had Infect. So basically, it's just like 3 mana, gain 10 life. Guaranteed. 3 mana for timely reinforcements. Let's step aside. We're going to buy an extra turn, which is good. Plus, we get an extra 10 life in the end. Yeah, I should just mention, like, just counter spells are not bad against Burn. Dispel. Very strong card. Oh yeah, the Burn also uses... Well, the green version uses Destructive Revelry, but those are, like, really old-fashioned versions of Burn. Unlife plus Solemnity. Yeah, you can't. Players can't get counters, so you can't get Infect. Infect is not like it's damage counters. You get the person gets counters, so players can't get counters anymore. So Unlife plus Solemnity is like just a lockout. I guess those should go together. Yeah, the timely reinforcements. We went over that, but very, very good one. If they can pull it off, Burn will be there with the Skullcrack. Yeah, that is exactly what Phyrexian Unlife is. It's 3 mana, gain 10 life. This can't be everything. This can't be everything. We're missing something. Is there a Planeswalker that gains life? There is a land that gains life. Oh, hold on. What's everything in the Titan deck? There's what's the land? Yeah, I threw in Thragtusk a little bit earlier. Radiant Fountain. And like when this thing gets copied or bounced and then replayed, big game. Makes it... This card single-handedly makes the Burn matchup against Titan decks just near damn impossible. They bounce it, they bounce it, they copy it with Vesuva. I didn't like when I looking at it, the Burn versus Titan matchup on paper, it looked like Burn would just roll it really hard. But then after they explained that like Radiant Fountain gains life and then they can recycle it a million times, and that it was not so clear anymore. Martyr of Sands. Oh, Heliod Spike Feeder combo. Yeah. You get Heliod out. The new Heliod. The new Heliod. Heliod Sun Crown. Plus Spike Feeder. This is a new this is like a new hot combo right now. Because you can Coco into it. Yeah, we went over Obstinate Baloth. Elspeth Sum's Nemesis. -3, gain 5 life. Martyr of Sands. Well, this requires you to play the entire deck. It's not like you can splash a Martyr of Sands in your deck. Oh, Wormcoil Engine. There we go. This is an anti-burn card. GTA is hard. I mean, we can add GTA to the list, but it's really hard to pull off because you need to equip the creature, attack. Well, I guess it can be blocked. You're going to get the counters anyway, but it needs to deal damage. Did someone say Soul Sisters? But you know what? We didn't mention Omnath. That's a new one. It might be a little bit difficult to pull off because it's still a 4-color card. What's the name of the card that prevents all non-combat damage to creatures? I don't know. Oh, Nourishing Shoal. Oh, Witchbane Orb? When an ATB, all curses attached to you are gone, you have hexproof. So basically ley line of sanctity, but you gotta do it the old way. Oh, Trinisphere is an interesting one, turning all the burn cards into 3-mana spells. Mark of Asylum. This is gonna be like a top 50. Oh, we talked about this was the first one we looked at. This is gonna be like a top 50 anti-burn cards video. Spark Trooper, the ball lightning that gains life. Navigator's Compass. When ETB, you gain 3 life. That's actually not too bad. But until end of turn, target land you control. I don't think this is like. I mean, I guess is an anti-burn card, but not in any competitive formats. Good morning, Zono. I still feel like we haven't even. We're still missing something. Like a lot of. I think we're missing a lot of cards. I'm just gonna start MTG top 8. I'm just gonna look at the archetypes. What's the life gain in Death Shadow? I guess almost nothing. Maybe Luris itself, but aside from that, it's just Collective Brutality. Oh, Lightning Helix from Burn. So the Burn's own anti-burn card is Lightning Helix. Oh, Spreading Seas. They hate this card. They hate Spreading Seas. Absolutely. Gift of Paradise. Never heard of this one. This is too slow. Yeah, you gain some life, but like you might as well play another card. Yeah, we did Dragon's Claw. It was mentioned before Spell Sky. I guess this is okay against Burn. I wouldn't say it's great. It's like okay. Nature's claiming your own shit. It's actually not a bad strategy. A lot of decks that you play Nature's Claim actually have artifacts. What does Silence do? I think you just, but isn't that just pass a turn? Your opponents can't cast spells this turn. Nah, I don't think that makes the list. I don't think that's an anti-burn card. I mean, in response to this, you can just cast burn spells. Okay, what do we got here? Jund, we named Scavenging Goose, Kitchen Finks. I think we might have got all of them. Obstinate Baloth, Rakdos Aggro. Is there any life gain in humans? Just Oriok Champion, I think. Oh, Kumbal, Console of Allocation, right? Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature, Kumbal. Oops. Oh, Campbell. I totally named this wrong. So here's Campbell. 2/3, 3-mana creature. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. You better believe this hoses Burn badly. Yeah, Thragtusk was named. Knight of Autumn is actually a good one. We haven't got that one. So if I don't acknowledge it, it's because we went over it already. That's all. Sphinx's Revelation counts, but I don't think it sees any play anymore. You know what? Let's add it here anyway. I don't know how to spell Sphinx. Is Eidolon of Rhetoric that good? I think Burn can live with one spell a turn. Because they can play one spell on their turn and one spell on your turn. Oh, Kai's Guile. No, we didn't mention this one. Each opponent sacrifices a creature, exile all cards from each opponent's graveyard, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token, and you can gain 4 life. Like, this is great. It's like Collective Brutality, but at instant speed. So you can gain, and by the way, you can choose even more if you have even more mana. Choose all if you pay the Entwine cost. That is ridiculous. You already choose 2 for 3 mana. That's nuts. You know, honestly, we're choosing any cards. Glacial Chasm, is that good against them? Like we mentioned Oko, that's banned. Creatures you control can attack, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. This is a good one. Gaia herself. Which one? Hold on. There's this one. Maybe you're referring to this one. You gain 2 life if at least one creature card was exiled this way. Good graveyard hate and life gain at the same time. Is Maze of Ith good? I don't know if Maze of Ith is that good against burn because it doesn't interact with the actual burn spells. Like this one just prevents all damage. The Glacial Chasm will prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. That's a pretty serious game against burn. You will do nothing. You will do nothing. I just have to pay 2 life every turn. That's all. I guess Angel's Grace is okay, but not exactly a hoser against them. Does Rick gain life? Is Rick in here? Oh, you can choose lifelink in here. Yeah, that's a beating. That's an absolute beating. As Rick enters the battlefield, choose 2 abilities from among First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. Gain lifelink and everything has lifelink, and then just get in there. I think Siren Storm Tamer is a bit weak against burn. Elixir of Immortality is actually not too bad. Why? What have I spelled wrong? Here, I'll just put... I had to have spelled Elixir wrong. You gain 5 life, shuffle this thing back into your library. You know, if anyone's losing to burn, I don't think they should have anything to complain about because clearly there's a billion anti-burn cards. Baneslayer Angel and Lyra Dawnbringer. I'll just show one, but basically, you know, the 5/5 first strike lifelink angels. We're not making an anti-burn deck, but we are going over every single burn hoser that exists. Best strat for versus burn is to win first. That will also work. Yeah, we mentioned White Leyline very early on. Why does everyone hate burn? It's the best new guy deck. But it's also like the cave. For that reason, it's like the caveman deck. So like losing to burn is very demoralizing because you can tell your opponent didn't sequence everything properly and made bad attacks or miss sequence. They're playing their lightning bolts at sorcery speed and you still lose. I would say that's the frustrating thing about playing against particular burn players and particularly the new burn players. Oh, Rest for the Weary. I can't even remember what this card does, but I know it's an anti-burn card. Yeah, so it's a landfall, gain 8 life instead. It's like a white version of Life Goes On. Oh, Kalitas counts. It's okay. It's okay. Not the best. Yeah, we went through. I mean, because of course there's better ones like Worm Coil Engine. Okay, I didn't look up. Yeah, it was Congregate was mentioned. I don't even know what this card is. Never seen this card. Target player gains 2 life for each creature on the battlefield. This looks like very good for Commander, but not very good for just regular competitive Magic. Do you know what? We're extending this to Legacy. We mentioned Chill already. Yeah, Weather the Storm is a good one. Courser of Crewfix used to be played. That's actually not too bad. Because it's good at blocking the ground while also gaining incremental life every single turn through all your land drops. Yeah, we mentioned Elder Gargaroth. What else? Okay, hold on. Let me look at the archetypes again. Oh, okay. This is not the greatest one because it's clunky. Oh, how do I not spell Batterskull? But Batterskull. There's Batterskull out there. Oh, Spirit Link, but you know what? In addition to Spirit Link, what is it called? What's the really evil aura? Daybreak Coronet. Double white. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3. Has first strike, vigilance, and lifelink. any pro red sword. Well, particularly one that gains life. Gideon of the Trials? Is Gideon that good? Because they still have, I mean, I guess they have to kill the Gideon. You get an emblem, but I don't think it's too hard because you just bolt him. You basically just exchange a Gideon. Does Maul of the Sky? I know it gives flying and first strike. Does it give lifelink? No, just +2/+2 flying and first strike. If it lives, it would be good. Yeah. Waiting. Speaking of, someone has some ideas here. Okay, what other cards are there in that I can see? I would say I should have something that just counter spells. Like counter spells by themselves are pretty good. But are there any specific Like I don't know if Cryptic Command is good against burn because it's very clunky. Thank you very much, Shock Onion. Classic Absorb. Not bad. And that's why Absorb saw more play than Undermine, because the other version of this was Undermine. And where you counterspell and they lose 3 life, but a control deck doesn't even care about this. Is this in Modern yet? Or no? No, it's not in Modern. Essence Warden for the Elf decks. Can't remember. Doesn't Elves have like even more? It's in Standard right now. Yeah, but why is it in Standard over like Undermine? Of course it. Oketra's Last Mercy. Okay, what's Oketra's Last Mercy? Your life total becomes equal to your starting life total. Lands you control don't untap during your next. Oh yeah, I see. I guess this is. I've never seen this card get play before. I guess it's okay if you're alive by the time you cast it. Heliod's Intervention. Like there's a lot of these sort of gain X life, but I don't think they're that great. Choose one. Oh, this one at least has the option of destroying artifacts and enchantments. This one might see play in some world, but I've never seen play. Okay, what else is there? Anything from the Death and Taxes decks right now? I think just Auriok champion. I think just Auriok champion. We're starting to get there. We're starting to get there. I think we nailed everything from Tron. Bug control, Urza. I feel like something I'm missing from the Niv Mizzet deck. We mentioned Lightning Helix. What other life game cards are there in the form of removal? Tree of Redemption. A Fumigate is good, but it's expensive. Finks was mentioned. Ooh, Charming Prince. You know what? I forgot about that one. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's the one I was thinking about, and we did go over that already. Yeah, we went over GT. And by the way, they don't need to be life gain cards. Like, you know, we went over Spreading Seas, we went over Chill, we went over Leyline of Sanctity. It can be cards that at least prevent damage or just turn, like, and Trinisphere and Chalice of the Void that just make a burn player's life a living hell. Yeah, we went over Uro. Yeah, Kolgan's Command is like okay, but not great. Like, it's fine. I guess Smallpox is pretty good. It's like Collective Brutality. We might have gone through them all now. I think that's it. We're running out of cards. Oh, Clothis is not bad. Or Clothis. I think this card should see more play. It's like it gains life, it gains mana, it deals damage, it exiles stuff from the graveyard. I mean, this card does a lot for 3 mana. I think it does like a lot. It's like a free Relic of Progenitus activation every single turn, and you get some benefit out of it. How does Decklist review? So you give X. I mean, I know I'm really late. I mean, I'll do some Decklist reviews, but we're having some great conversation about anti life gain cards. But some Aristocrats cards. You just go ! Deck review in the chat, give a space, and then give the URL to the deck list that you want reviewed. And also you can leave another space and leave any comments about that deck. And then press enter. And then you are not guaranteed to get your deck list reviewed, but it will be put in a queue and it'll be chosen at random. Number 6 here, but number 1, better watch out. What are you talking about, Spider Space? It's so funny now. People used to ask me why I wasn't playing humans. Oh, the turn. Yeah, that's right. The Death and Taxes rising. And the only reason Death and Taxes is I didn't put it higher is that I don't think enough people are playing it yet. And it might be like, where do you think in the difficulty level of this deck now? I mean, it's got some really good upgrades. Things like cards like I mean, hold on, maybe I'll just pull it up. Skyclave Apparition. Like a card like this will make the deck easier to play because it's just, you play the 3-drop and you just exile cards away and then they basically don't come back. But, as we've discussed before in that interview with you, people, the deck is difficult. And no one respects us and it's hard to play. I get it. So and that might be a barrier for the deck from really taking over. Because if the deck is difficult to play, and there's a lot of nuances to it. I mean, and of course, as you know, there are tricks with Flicker Wisp with this, where you exile the card, and with the trigger on the stack, you can Violent Flicker Wisp, and you just exile the creature for free. So I mean to make a deck list a deck tech on this deck. Very, very strong. Very good deck right now. Very, very strong. It definitely has a lot of room to grow. You got to teach the community Spider Space, though. You got to teach the community. They need to know the ins and outs about this. It's funny now how people used to ask me why I wasn't playing humans, and now why play humans when you can play Death and Taxes? Oh, that's an interesting one. Ice Fang Quaddle against Burn. Interesting point. To be fair, this is a pain in the ass against anything. If you have a deck with creatures, this is so annoying. Yeah, Klothys. I don't even know if it's a fixed Deathrite Shaman. Klothys is you get the stuff all the time, and well, I don't know about no matter what. It's like, yeah, it's the same thing with Deathrite Shaman, where Deathrite Shaman you need the card from the graveyard, but I never saw that parallel together. But that's true. Funny enough, but Blood Moon used to be good when they had 4 Helixes and Boros Charms. Sometimes it's still good. Sometimes it is still good against them. I think the main is pretty close to cemented. The sideboard is going to be where you see the spice. All right, cool. Everyone hates taxes and no one wants to die, so you take your lumps when you pick up this deck. DS Monster made me respect Death and Taxes just as I made him respect Merfolk. There you go. Mutual respect. I can't think of... Spider Space. We were talking about anti-burn cards. You're a white player. White players have tons of all the utility, but you weren't here for the earlier portion of the show. What are unorthodox cards that are good against burn? Because we got the obvious ones like Leyline of Sanctity and even like... Oh, do we have Deafening Clarion? I don't know if that's that good. It's okay. Sees a little bit of play. Deafening Clarion sees 3 damage to each creature. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. Yeah, we got Burnton Forge Tender earlier. Auriok Champion. Maybe that's it. Maybe we've exhausted all the anti-burn cards. You were testing Mark of Asylum yesterday? I was okay, well then maybe we'll make the list. I was like, you know what, Mark of Asylum, we were talking, that was the first card mentioned, and I was like, maybe this card should make the list, but no one really plays this card. But you know what, Spider Space plays the card now, so it's in the list. It's made the list, people. It's made the list. Reflecting Palm? You mean Deflecting Palm? But I think this is like this is like a burn card against Deflecting Palm. This is like a burn card versus burn card scenario. Swan Song to counter Eidolon. What are the anti-red counter spells? Like Dispel, Aether Gust, I guess, can be one. Cerulean Drake is one. Okay, Mono Red Prowess is the only deck in the meta I can't beat, and Mark of Asylum gets them really good. Watch out for when. Watch out, because Prowess is after you. They're playing with Oblivion Stone now. As mind blowing as that sounds, Oblivion Stone is in Prowess. They're coming for your Mark of Asylums. Bone Crusher and Kozilek's Return against their sideboard pro-red creatures. Yeah, M. Hayashi is a king for a reason. Yeah, we mentioned Hydroblast. Super good card. Wish there was more cards like this. Maybe Meddling Mage deserves some credit. Like, if you play Meddling Mage and they've got suspended Rift Bolts, if Meddling Mage doesn't die at their upkeep, the Rift Bolts will, because they just can't cast them. You know what? I didn't mention Force Negation. I don't actually think Force Negation is good. I actually think Force Negation is actually... It's awkward. It's good against Searing Blaze and Searing Blood, because usually when you tap out with your creatures, your opponents will... They have to... Well, at least with Searing Blaze, they can... Like, they'll play a land and fetch, and they'll get the landfall for Searing Blaze. So then you force negate it on their turn. But it's awkward because they can play at instant speed on your turn. Yeah, we mentioned Stoneforge Mystic for Batterskull. Lazotep plating? Oh yeah, this card. My strategy for actual burn is to make them kill my stuff so they're not, well, killing my... Yeah. Same thing with Merfolk. Kill my creatures. Use the burn spells on those things. Stay away from the face. Stay away from the face. Okay, I think I've exhausted more or less every playable anti-burn card, I think. Yeah, we got Blessed Alliance. A very interesting discussion. All right, let's do some deck list review. It's going to be a long day today. All right, good luck to everyone in the queue. And I gotta wait for the deck review bot to select something. You did not mention a card you lost to recently. What's that? Why didn't you mention it? Cactus of Ishmok. Spike. No, we mentioned Spike Feeder. We mentioned it. We mentioned the Heliod Spike Feeder combo. Yep, we got it. Wonder how Burn feels about infinite life gain combos. Okay, do I have to make my bot a mod? How do I make my bots a mod? Where's my bots? How do I view my bots? Extensions. I don't know how to do this. Yeah, come on, bot, wake up. Hold on, let's see. Exclamation deck review pick. It's like getting really slow. Oh, it says no deck list left to review. No, that's bullshit. There's deck list review. Okay, everyone, please resubmit your deck lists. The bot, yeah, the bot is dead. Or is it going to pick something now? It just told me there's no deck list review. I like moved out of Stream Manager, moved back. I don't think it should have anything to do. Okay, it found something. It found something. I got it. I got it. Okay, we got something. We got 5x5s. Okay, you don't have to resubmit. You don't have to resubmit. If you resubmit, it's fine. It's okay. It'll still work. It'll just replace your last submitted list with your new one. But you don't have to anymore. It seems to be working now. I think. If you don't trust the bot, and I wouldn't, resubmit the list. Okay, blue-white wizards. Okay, before you even see this list, I predict Naban. I also predict Reflector Mage. Okay, let's go check this list out, and I'm excited. Okay, Fairy Seer. Do we have Reflector Mage? Do we have Naban? I am a fucking prophet here, people. I am an absolute prophet here. So Naban. Okay, so let's look at the beginning. Fairy Seer, flying, ETB Scry 2, Siren Storm Tamer. What's the format here? Okay, for modern. Siren Storm Tamer, Merfolk Trickster, Naban, 2 Tidebinder Mage, Watch for Tomorrow. Effectively like delayed Silvergill Adept. Baron, Tolarian Archmage, Reflector Mage, Soul Herder, and Afera, God of the Polis. Land for Glacial Fortress, 4 Hollow Fountain, 7 Island, 2 Plains, 4 Seachrome Coast, 2 Wizard's Retort, 2 Aether Vial. Okay, you got the Aether Vials. That's good. I don't know how good Wizard's Retort is in this list. I mean, I guess you can play it. Sideboard, Relic of Progenitus, 1 Tidebinder Mage, 1 for Deputy Detention, 4 Mystical Dispute, 2 Wizard's Retort. Okay, so first off, I actually think you should dump the 1-drops. I think they're really weak and they're really bad. I've played with decks like this before. They're just terrible. They're actually just not good. They don't have any power, and you can't afford to be playing with these cards. Like, you don't have you won't have any big ways of pushing power, and it's basically going to be coming from grizzly bears and from you bouncing their stuff to their hand. That's like the main way you're going to be pushing damage. You can't afford these one-drop creatures. It's just, they're too small, they're too weak, they're not worth it. You should just lean on all this other stuff. Not to mention, they're really weak to Lava Dart. You don't need to have more things in your deck weak to Lava Dart. So I would suggest, well, first off, this deck definitely could use a card like, yeah, definitely this deck could use some Caverns. I don't know if this deck is on a budget, but first off, you could use Cavern of Souls, but also play the, what's it called? Glasspool Mimic. I mean, this deck is definitely could use Glasspool Mimic to copy your Reflector Mages and stuff like that. This is a fantastic Glasspool Mimic deck. And also, I suggest going up to about 22 lands, because your deck is mostly at 3 mana. Soul Herder, Reflector Mage, Baron. Well, I don't know about mostly, but it's like a little bit top heavy, and especially since you're running Afara, God of the Polis. So definitely run Glasspool Mimic and Cavern of Souls in here. I mean, it's probably better than Glacial Fortress or some copies of Glacial Fortress and Hollow Fountain. Glacial Fortress is it's actually risky in this deck. You do have 13 lands that you're very likely to have by turn 1, but sometimes you don't. Yes, Glasspool Mimic. So replace... Well, anyway, you're going to replace some of these lands with Glasspool Mimic and then replace a bunch of them with Cavern of Souls, because you're all on Wizards anyway, and you could use it. Naban is a very powerful card, and Naban plus Reflector Mage will be good. It'd be nice... Is there... At the beginning of your upkeep, if you had another creature enter the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. I'm not really convinced that this is that great. I would really like you to have a Lord in this deck. Maybe it's not mandatory, but like there's got to be some way you push damage, and I just don't see it. Oh, you know what you could play? Hold on, isn't Big Thassa good in this deck? So as long as, like at the beginning of your end step, exile up to one other target creature you control, then return that creature to the battlefield under your control. So this is a very big creature that you can get online for 5 devotion, whereas Afara requires 7. That's a lot harder. And blinking things like Reflector Mage and tapping your opponent's creatures down to make way for all your Grizzly Bears, I think is going to be more useful than drawing cards with Afara. You know what? Yeah, Naru, and unfortunately Naru is not very outside of the Lord part and the... Well, Lord and Flash is actually useful, but maybe Thassa is good enough. But there's also what's called Naru, Miha, Master Wizard, Flash, and a Lord. Really not that bad. It would be nice if you could copy the instant and sorcery and like make some good use out of that. But anyway, Modern is a little bit too powerful for these cards. They're just too small and too insignificant, and it's going to act as card disadvantage in the long run. I'm not 100% sold on Soul Herder. Because, again, this is not a very powerful card, and for the most part, I don't think you actually have synergy. You have enough stuff to blink. I would actually like to see this card replaced by something else. I don't know what else you have, and like you're splashing basically white for Reflector Mage, but you do have good like sideboard options. It's like you should have some of these relics should be Rest in Peace, because you're running white anyway, so you might as well take advantage of Rest in Peace. Not all, could be just 1 or 2, but something. Deputy Detention is fine. Well, instead of Soul Herder, you could run Thassa instead, because this is I would say the value you're getting from blinking your stuff doesn't like overwhelm. It doesn't scale to the point that you overwhelm your opponent with like millions of cards like the actual Soul Herder deck does. All you're doing is getting like 1 blink out of Reflector Mage a turn, but maybe that will be enough to beat some decks. I don't know. But as a 1/1 creature for 3 mana, I think it's very small. Very, very small. And you need more stuff. You need like Silvergill Adept and Watcher of Tomorrow. Like what I'm saying is you need like more synergy here. You might want to have one Oboro in your deck for Baron? Because if you return the land back to your hand, you can draw it. Like, maybe. I'm not saying that's mandatory, but it's just something to consider. Yeah, you need a you can't be dirtling for forever. And I fear that this deck is dirtling too much. You might just want to go all in on Thassa. Just play 4 of these Thassas. Because it does the same thing, except this thing is a very big creature when you've got Devotion on the battlefield, and also can interact with your opponent with your the opponent's side of the board. I don't know what you replace these with. Something. I'm just trying to think, like, what good... There's got to be good blue-white wizards available. Blue, we're looking for creature that's a wizard. And also white. Exactly these colors. Oops. Look up modern. And we'll say less than 4. Can't be too expensive. Legal in modern. What do we have available here in blue whites? Memomancer, Deputy of Detention, Deputy of Quittals, Meddling Mage, of course, but not the most backbreaking card. Sig River. Well, you actually, do you know what? Do you know what's not bad? Just, honestly, do you know what's not bad? Stoneforge Mystic. I mean, you know what? If I was playing white and I just have some random mana to do something with, maybe I just add Stoneforge Mystic to the deck. Hold on, but you also need, like... Maybe you should be playing with Path to Exile in here, because you've got no spot... Well, you don't have spot removal, but you have all this stuff. You have the Barons and... What can you play at 1 mana, though? That would be useful. You can't do nothing at 1 mana. You have, like, Aether Vial. You need to do something else at 1 mana. And it looked like you had these things, but they're just crap creatures. They're just too small. It's still too small and too insignificant. Was that most of these colors? Well, I was looking to see exactly what was exactly white and black. Sorry, white and blue. Looking for the perfect payoff. I know there's other... Maybe you play a white spell, this thing, blah, blah, blah. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, Giver of Runes might be a good one. You might not be able to run... if you run Giver of Runes... Actually, the Giver is way better than... This is actually... That's a good suggestion. But then if we run Giver of Runes, we might not be able to play Cavern of Souls because... or if you do run Cavern of Souls, you can't run too many of them. I think you can run... Well, actually, you can run 7 white... So I would say you could run 7 white sources plus Aether Vial with this. So you got the 2 planes, 4 Seacrum Coast, 2 planes, and maybe... Yeah, you could still run Cavern of Souls. Your mana base will be fine with Giver of Runes. Okay, I would replace that with Siren Storm Tamer. That would be fine. And then maybe a few other things. I don't know. Wizard's Retort probably should just be Deprive. It's not better than Deprive. Even in a Wizard's deck, Deprive is better than Wizard's Retort. Or you play Force Negation. I don't know if this is on a budget or not, but I would have Force Negation in this deck. I'd prefer Force Negation over Wizard's Retort any day. So I would replace these 2 with just Force Negation and these 2 with Force Negation. Soon enough, you'll be throwing in Thalia. Maybe we'll do that. So something to consider. I would rip this apart. I would remove... Okay, let's say we took out 5 of these cards. These 3 cards, because we know Siren Storm Tamer is going to be Giver of Runes. And then we add the Stoneforge Mystic package. And you can clear the way with Reflector Mage and the Barons and stuff like that. And also play with this Thassa. Because I think this is going to be better. I think this is going to be a better Soul Herder card in this deck than Soul Herder than Soul Herder in this deck. But anyway, those are my suggestions. Semi-budget-ish. So maybe Stoneforge Mystic might be expensive, but I think... How expensive? This is not too expensive, Thassa. Or maybe it is. I don't know. How much is... Anyway, hold on. How much is Giver of Runes? Is Giver of Runes rare? It is rare. Son of a bitch, it's rare. It also costs money. I apologize if I suggested a bunch of expensive cards, but those are those I think are the things that need. Stoneforge just got a reprint. Did it? Oh yeah, just got reprinted. Holy crap! The price collapsed. World Wake still doing okay. Okay. Anyway, those are my suggestions. Got it to improve the deck. Good luck with it. Let's move on. I guess right now is a good time to pick up Stoneforge Mystic. Spider Space's deck list has been chosen. Just wanted to share a brew. Probably need some more things for disruptive aggro, like main deck Swift Spears or something. Spider Space, today is your lucky day. Frankly, I feel like players like yourself and myself, we're more pro than the pro players. So this is going to be interesting checking out this deck list. Because all the pro players do is just copy the deck list that we that we win with online. That's all they do these days. They don't brew their own stuff anymore. Pfft, those days are over. Maybe for standard that's true, but not for modern. All right, blue-black. Some sort of a blue-black Lurrus control. So we can still have Cryptic Command, but no gigantic creatures. Snapcaster Mage, Blood Chief's Thirst, 3 Inquisition, 2 Thoughtseize, 1 Unearth, 2 Cling to Dust, 4 Fatal Push, 4 Thought Scour, 2 Drown in the Lock, 3 Archmage's Charm, 4 Force Negation, 2 Cryptic Command, 3 Ceremonious Rejection, Nihil Spellbomb, Ether Gust, Noxious Grasp, Lurrus of the Dream Den, of course. Rain of Tears, destroy target land. Well, I'll be damned. Rain of Tears. Just out of curiosity, what are you trying to kill with Rain of Tears? Just out of curiosity. Like, you want to destroy basic lands? Because I don't know why this would be better than Fulminator Mage. Under what circumstances do you want Rain of Tears over, say, Fulminator Mage? Because the land destruction card usually is this, because this one can attack, and it's the same casting cost. Oh, Lurrus. There we go. Someone cracked the code really quickly. I always forget about that. Well, maybe a screw Lurrus in some cases. Tron stuff, Amulet, and Field of the Dead. So it's all... Okay, whatever. I understand. We can't... we don't have Sinkhole in Modern. Damnation. I don't really have much to say. Hold on. 2 Engineer Explosives, 4 Mishra's Bauble. And because we're running Lurrus, we cannot play Urza. We don't have a whole lot of artifacts anyway. 2 Field of Ruin, 2 Flooded Strand, 2 Mystery Rainforest, 2 Sanctuary, 4 Polluted Delta, Scalding Tarn, Islands, Swamp, Sunken Hollow, and Watery Grave. I know that Spreading Seas could be a thing, but I think Mystic Sanctuary is nice. Yeah, of course. On the surface, I don't see anything particularly wrong with the list. I know that control players are constantly fighting over what's better. Do we Thoughtseize things? Do we use, like, how much... I personally have never felt the struggle myself, but I can understand that there might be something awkward about hand disruption and counter spells in the same deck, even though they facilitate 2 different things. They seem to be like very... From people who build decks like this, it seems to be very awkward because you're like thought seizing something before it enters the battlefield. Or how can I put it? They seem to attack on 2 different angles. I think the discard is nice here to clear the way for Lurrus. Honestly, you don't have that many. Honestly, you don't have that many counterspells. Well, I mean, okay, maybe I should take that back. You have a lot of counterspells. You have Drown in the Lock, Archmage's Charm, Force Negation, and Cryptic Command. So, Blood Chief's Thirst, 1 Unearth, of course. Fatal Push, Drown in the Lock. So you have, I guess you have a decent stuff, a decent chunk amount of stuff against prowess, which is the most important deck. So like, I mean, I think your deck is clean. I think your deck is very, very clean. You have all the right balance of spells. You might be lacking on win condition. Your win condition is like literally Snapcaster Mage and Lurrus. It's hard to play things like Ashiok or Scarab God because, again, this is a Lurrus deck. Lurrus doesn't allow you to have permanents convert a mana cost 3 or greater in your deck, or in your main deck when you have it as a companion. So I guess my new main concern is how quickly can you win the game? Because the onus is going to be really on you. Like, you have to ask yourself, do you have like the best controlling elements possible? I mean, like, are your best win conditions are going to be like things that you steal from your opponent? The win con aspect hasn't been an issue. So you've been playtesting this deck for a while. Well, maybe. I mean, if Snapcaster Mage somehow is enough to win the game, if Snapcaster Mage somehow is enough to win the game, I guess this is okay. I'm sort of a non-believer, though. Snapcaster Mage and Lurrus of the Dream Den is enough to hold back decks like Tron, Eldrazi Tron. There's so many aggressive decks because you essentially what you have to do is you have to completely stabilize against. You have to completely stabilize against an archetype to the point that they have no resources, and then somehow you're getting in there with a 2/1 creature until your opponent goes from 20 to 0. Well, and also, how does this deck take advantage of Lurrus? It's literally just Lurrus and Snapcaster Mage? Because there's no other permanents, right? Oh, sorry. No, there's Engineer Explosives. That's actually big. Oh, and Mishra's Bauble. Those are two huge. Those are very, very good payoff cards. Very, very good payoff cards in this deck. Because, I mean, you will bury your opponent in card advantage with Mishra's Bauble. I mean, like, there's so many games I was up against Lurrus and I thought I had it in the bag, and I had a Chalice on 1, I had a Chalice on 2, and I thought the game's over, and my opponent bobbled a million turns in a row, and eventually they found their way out. They got their way out of it. Yeah, Bobble and EE are fantastic payoffs. I would love to see this deck in action. Do you have some streams of this? Have you been streaming this deck already? Well, Chalice doesn't hurt it that much. I mean, let's say you play Chalice on 1. They can play Engineered Explosives on 0 and blow it up. Boom! Or they just counter it. Force negation. They can bounce it with Cryptic Command. So there's answers. Lurrus feels like a 5 mana Teferi always in your hand. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's basically what it is. Almost mono 4/1s. Interesting. Okay, cool list. If anyone's interested in playing with blue-black control, maybe this is the way to go. Blue-black Lurrus control. 23 lands. If the win if somehow Snapcaster Mage is enough, I mean, I can believe the card advantage. I don't underestimate an unopposed Lurrus of the Dream Den drawing an extra like 2 cards a turn. It gets disgusting very quickly. What do you think the deck struggles with, Spider Space? My impression is that it struggles with pushing damage, but apparently that's not the case. You're welcome. Well, Thought Scour combos with Drown in the Lock, so you can Thought Scour your opponent because not every deck puts cards in their graveyard, and then they have enough cards in the graveyard that you can drown in the luck and either kill or counter their cards. That's the point. I mean, you can Thought Scour yourself as well to look for your engineered explosives and Mishra's baubles, so that when you got Luris of the Dream Den out, you have something, you have a payoff when Luris comes out. Tron seems hard, and Humans and Death and Taxes were real hard. It's not good news if you can't beat Humans, because I mean, a deck like this, you would think should be able to eat up a Humans deck. Well, I guess you don't have the most spot removal, do you? And you are heavier on the counter spells than spot removal. And Thoughtseize and Inquisition are meh against them. You do have Bloodchief's Thirst, though. Whatever, interesting deck. Very nice. Scour plus Bauble has Bauble them has been cute. Nice little oh, I see. So you Bauble them, and then you see, oh, your key win condition is on top of your deck. Well, now we're just gonna Thought Scour it away. Goodbye. It's basically like main deck milling strategy. Target player mills 2 cards. Sweet. Thank you very much for submitting that, Spiderspace. If you want to see that deck in action, go follow Spiderspace. Twitch.tv/Spiderspace. Let's keep going. Deck review. Pick. Mature's Decklist has been chosen. A few months ago, you helped me out with my deck, and I have been playtesting it and working on the numbers. Just wanted to get your opinion and see what you think. All right, let's see. Zombies are back. I can't tell anymore how many times, if we're seeing a news. Oh, this one is, we're seeing a repeat on zombies. Mechanical error. That has me very confused. Okay, we're in, it's modern. Okay, Carrion Feeder. Crypt Breaker, Diregraphed Captain. Oh, was this the one? Was this the blue-black zombie list? I should play zombies or vampires soon. It's like Halloween is coming up. I should do an annual zombies / vampire league. Geralf's Messenger, Gravecrawler, Prized Amalgam, Relentless Dead, Stitcher's Supplier. Okay, so you've got a mix of getting stuff into the graveyard while also being able to sacrifice stuff. Do you have anything that can come back? You have Gravecrawler. You just have the Gravecrawler. Oh, we have also Relentless Dead. That's good. So you have a few ways of triggering Prized Amalgam. Snow-Covered Island, Snow-Covered Swamp, Cavern Souls, Polluted Delta, Watery Grave. Collective Brutality. Oh, and you also have Unearth, actually, to bring stuff back from the graveyard to the battlefield. That's always a weird one for me with Unearth. And if you also have a lot of Unearths in your hand, you can Fled Out on them. If you want to, like, if we went back to Spiderspace's Luris list, he's running 1 Unearth, because this having 2 of them in your hand is like flooding out on it. Like, having 1 is okay, because you basically only need it once. But if you and you can just cycle it away pretty easily. But if you Fled Out on Earth, that actually is a problem, because if you spend 2 mana to cycle it, it's not free. You basically burn a turn doing that. So I actually might play with less Unearths, especially given a lot of this deck is coming back from the graveyard anyway. Maybe not all of it, but a decent chunk of it. I'm guessing people have heard about Spike's Zombies going 5-0. No, I haven't heard about it. Bloodghast is a vampire, believe it or not. Bloodcast is not a zombie. It looks like it should be a zombie, right? I thought this was a zombie for the, like, I don't know, up until last year when I actually had to make a zombies and vampire deck for Halloween. And then I found this is not a zombie. This is a vampire. Looks like a zombie to me. Anyway, yeah, don't go to. We're gonna cap it at 2 Unearths. Don't play any more. You can play another Brutality if you really want to, or actually probably just up your Gravecrawler slot. You probably want Gravecrawler to freely cast your prized amalgams from the graveyard. Plague Engineer, great. Fatal Push, great. Leyline of the Void, great. Scarab God, great. Smallpox, actually, I think is great in this deck. That's actually a really creative idea. Each player loses 1 life, discards a card, sacrifices a creature, then sacrifices a land. I really like that idea. I'm not sure, but I might want this in the main deck. I'm not sure. This is a very powerful effect. It's hard for people to use it. It's just, this card is so strong. It's just hard for every deck to use it. And 4 Thoughtseize. Okay, so new version of the deck, more centered around coming back from the graveyard with a combo finish if needed. The combo is sacking the board to Carrion Feeder and dealing damage with Gyre-Graft Captain. How does that work? Okay, sacking the board to Carrion Feeder. So you have like a 10-10 Carrion Feeder. Then you have Gyre-Graft Captain. When Death Touch, whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. So you basically try to sack the board and also make the opponent lose life at the same time. Love Gyre-Graft Captain. I don't know if this is the most reliable combo, but it most definitely can be a combo. Plague Belcher is also pretty good if you don't mind killing your own guys. I don't think the deck creator minds at all. By the way, if your combo is focused, okay, so first things first, if you build a deck focused on these 2 cards, you should go all in on them. Like you should have 4 Carrion Feeder. So when we take out 2 Unearth, maybe the right thing to do is go 1 more Carrion Feeder, 1 more Gravecrawler to increase the creatures in your deck, and also just have enough things to do at 1 mana. Actually, I'm not sure what's more important. No, I think Gravecrawler is still important to this deck because you really want to reliably get prized amalgam from the graveyard to the battlefield with Stitcher's Supplier. And if you play Stitcher's Supplier and dump Gravecrawlers into the graveyard, I think that's a good thing. The new Black Bolt flip land seems pretty free here as a 1x. Yeah, Agadim's Awakening, I think. So triple black and X. Return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost, X or less. So you can return something. Like even like a Stitcher Supplier, or like, hold on, is it any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost. So if you have 6 mana up, you would get like a 3-drop, a 2-drop, and a 1-drop from your graveyard to the battlefield. How do you deal with graveyard hate? I think, well, here's the deal, and this is one thing I like about it. You're not all in on the graveyard with this deck. You just hard cast things like Gyre-Graft Captain and Crypt Breaker, or make an army with Crypt Breaker. Make a big Carrion Feeder. You just like prized amalgam generally comes from your graveyard to the battlefield, but you can hard cast this card and actually just beat them down with creatures. So it's not clear that someone playing with hard graveyard hate is going to do anything to this deck, because you're just like you're still a normal, or we're not playing with Ether Vial in this deck. Supposed to suggest something else, but like you're still like a creature based deck that can just beat your opponent's face in. I think that's totally fine. And I think this deck would be more resistant to graveyard hate than most other decks, because it just look at it like a tribal deck, like goblins or something. Somehow I feel like this deck should have more mana. 21 feels low, like very low. 21 mana sources feel very low. And I know your curve doesn't go up that high. Like, you have some 3-drops, but it still feels very, very low. With 2 islands in here, it means you're a bit short from actually casting the Messenger by turn 3. Your Messenger is more of a 4-drop. To get triple black by turn 3, you need 21 black sources in your deck. I know that much. And you only have 19 because you have 2 islands here. But I don't want to change the deck too much. Take out some Unearths, add Carrion Feeder and Gravecrawler, and I think you're good to go. And I think the sideboard, for the most part, is fine. And I hope the deck has been doing very well for you. And thank you very much for submitting the list. Okay. Coffee and MTG basically went for 2 hours. Am I streaming today? Am I streaming? Should I have like a very quick birthday stream? I'll think about it. Maybe I'll come back. What should I do today? Maybe I should have a lunch and then stream. I don't know. So many things to do today. So many things. Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna think about it. We're gonna cut it off for Coffee and MTG today. But I'll continue to stream and I'll make a decision about what I do for today. I'll have a good, quick, maybe a very quick gameplay stream. But thank you very much, everyone, for showing up today. We had a lot of fun. We had a great discussion about how to obliterate Burn. So basically, anyone who needs to know how to beat Burn, they have a wealth of options discovered in this video. And I'll see you at the next cup. So see you next time.